Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus. And yes, here I am again early this morning in my approach to give you more information about the most powerful power that you've never seen, never will see. It's invisible, it's a spirit, but it is evidenced by all existence, including you and I. And each of us having the ability to allow that spirit, if we choose to live in us, and we become a magnification of the invisible into the visible. And people will be able to judge the power that we represent by the action that we yield. And the action that we yield reflects a God or of a group or the God of the human race. The God of the human race, what love that exists for one exists for all of the billions. That's the God that I want to speak to you about. I've always been speaking to you about. And that's the God that I'm even at this day in time trying to get you to maybe choose that God instead of Donald Trump or instead of Joe Biden. And there's a way to do that, but you got a little bit of time to consider it. I was listening to an interview that Donald Trump had given to Bob Woodard. And he was talking about the virus. I'm sure you've heard about it on the news. You've heard about it on social media for sure. And Trump was saying that he knew that the virus, the pandemic, well, it was going to be a pandemic. It was very serious, dangerous. And this is the information he gave to Bob Woodard, and came straight out to the public and presented that it was something that was mild, wasn't going to be this and that, it'll probably be passing away, don't get upset. And his theory is that he didn't want to cause panic, that if he caused panic, it might have this effect or that effect. So he wanted to play it down, not allow people to know that the British are coming. The British are coming, but you don't want to come and say the British are coming, the British are coming, because the people might panic. So you allow the people to go to bed at night, go to sleep, and the British to come over and invade them. That's exactly what he said his reasoning was. And he's bold enough or dumb enough to stand before the American people and say, make me president again. And he's dumb enough and bold enough to do that because of the power that is supporting this particular effort. The effort is contingent upon the fact that you, the American people, are truly dumb enough and stupid enough to put him back in office again. Now, if you are, then that means to the powers that be that America is now conquered, America now dominated, and we are a part of the New World Order. We don't have to worry about, they don't have to worry about anything else again. And all of the freedoms that we have held up or thought were important all of our lives, we watched this man, Donald Trump, come in and walk on every last one of them. And in the highest office of the land, which is supposed to represent all of that for which we have all suffered one way or another. And now he walks in and steps on every last one of them and gets away with it. Gets away with it, ladies and gentlemen, for you to hope that he loses and you can try to get even with him after he gets out of office. How in the hell could he walk on the whole Constitution, the whole what the United States of America is, and got totally away with it? You can only do that if steps were marked by the hidden powers that you can't see. And I'm not talking about the God of love. I'm talking about those who are talking about the New World Order, men who are talking about controlling and manipulating men just so they can represent their power, their divine power. Because we, the people of the world, were stupid and ignorant enough to listen to preachers who told us about a God that was a God of America or a God of Russia, but was not the God of both. Told us about a God that was a God of whites, a God of blacks, but were not the God of both. Stupefied us But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It doesn't make any difference. There was a time that a child was in the mother's womb. You might have called it a fetus, I don't know what. But it was in the mother's womb. And it was being controlled. It was being manipulated. It was being fed. Everything that it got came from that mother. But one day, one moment in time, something happened. Something miraculous happened. And I don't care what that womb, I don't care what that mother thought. I don't care what was on her mind. Something happened. Something miraculous was happening. And that womb, what had one time been such a small thing, found itself opening up. Something miraculous was happening. Wow. And the mother was now helping it with all of her power, all of her might. And what happened? Ooh, a whole new world. A whole new world. This child entered into a whole brand new world. That's like you and I, ladies and gentlemen, who've been living in darkness all of our lives. We've been suffering our lives, even those of us who thought we were rich. What we had to do to become rich, what we had to accept as being morally acceptable because it was based on legality. And we were bold enough to do it. And we amassed more than we could use. And we watched so many that suffered. And we wanted to build walls to keep them from even asking us for help. Oh, what kind of people that we become. But thank God Almighty, there's something called birth or rebirth. Now we're awakening up from the spirit of life, the life that we so adore, the life that I adore, that we all adore. Don't have to fight for it, but give to it so there's more of it for all. And I was listening at, I kind of got off up there for a few minutes. And at this interview, I was listening to Trump saying, I knew about this kind of stuff. And now he was asking Joe Biden. Joe Biden was being interviewed with some anchor. And they were asking him about it. And he was talking about, how can he say these things? He's not fit to lead. These guys, they are not losers. You know, Trump had called the military losers too, as well. So they were talking about that subject. They talked about how he was able to allow people to die from the virus by not having the ability to lead, to engage in doing the proper things or a different thing. And so when he was talking about the vets, though, who were not losers, who were bold, who were all of that, who were really patriotic, I was sitting there and I would begin to think to myself. And all of a sudden, it almost appeared as if the things that he was saying just didn't wash. It looked like on the one hand, I could sympathize with him and understand what he's trying to say. But when I think about the same action that he is deploying about what Trump is saying about certain people, is the same conduct that all of them have directed on blacks and people of color. And now all of a sudden they're trying to lift up some standard or something that's so fantastic that might have been true, might have been acceptable if they didn't have somebody standing over there called black people or people of color who could look at them and say, that ain't true. Like what that black girl named that worked with, Omarosa, said, Jesus didn't say that. that ain't true. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look, all the things that each of us, God made us, and we are connected. We are instruments of God, made to create. We're here to create. We came with a gift to engage in this process of creation. We don't really know where we're going. We got little ideas about this, the computer, this, and the telephone, that, and the lights, this. Yeah, we're doing these little things, but we don't know what's going on. In the big picture of things, we have no idea what's going on. These are just our careers. These are our jobs. These are the roles that we play in this process. And as we engage ourselves in this role, in this process, we experience heaven on earth because that's the way God is. God don't have us going through pain and suffering. That's all because we stepping outside of the lines. We step back inside these lines, and all of us could begin again to live as though we were in heaven and earth. And we're just constantly giving of ourselves because that's what we came into this earth to do, to give of ourselves in this process. And again, we don't know what God is doing. We don't know what God is doing with us here and what he's doing with Russia, how all of these things are interconnected. We don't even know how this particular world is interconnected with another world. We're just out here, and if we shut up and just be ourselves and enjoy life and stop trying to be God, man, we can act like and feel like we're back on the playground again. And let this be God's world. And let us be who we are and enjoy who we are and love all that is about us. And stop talking about this junk with Trump. You know, all these lies that Trump is telling them. People know Trump is lying. And then there are those who love it because he's lying. Lie to them. Who can go out there and start a fire out on the West Coast, knowing it's going to burn up towns, burn up cities, destroy people's lives, and probably pat themselves on the back for doing it? Man, I know one thing. When they run up on these guys and catch these guys, I'm telling you, there's something inside of me saying, Lord, please don't let them be black. And when they catch them and they're not black, I'm saying, thank God. I didn't think we could be that cruel. But the cruelty nevertheless exists. Why? Because the man, the woman, whoever commits these crimes are suffering. They don't know anything to do except what they're doing. They're crying out for us, we the people, to do the right things. And we can't argue against that. We cannot argue against that as long as we are not doing the right thing. Once we start doing the right thing, it will clear itself up, or at least we'll know there's something else we got to do. But we can't argue against what we haven't tried. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't intend to talk this long, but it was a good one. And I want to thank you so very much for giving it all to me during this moment. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying, have a beautiful day. Goodbye.